guys, what's going on? Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Deborah, this is Purusha Intuitive, and we are going to be looking at the new moon astrology. So I apologize in advance. This video is coming out a little bit late. I had intended to get to it last night, but it didn't happen. So we're actually in new moon energy right now. The reason I am going to upload this is because usually we can feel that energy for about 3 days before to 3 days after. So it is still relevant, you know, even though like the new moon happened at what, 3 something Eastern Standard Time, 3:53 Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so it's new moon in Aquarius. Happy birthday to anyone experiencing a birthday today. We just entered Aquarian season. This is such a beautiful energy because it kind of reminds me of, well, you know, it's expansion. It's a little Sagittarian to me in some ways, minus the fire, right? This is kind of how we show up in our world. The people that we surround ourselves with, what our hopes and our wishes are for this life, you know, and it can be an incredibly abundant energy. So there's actually a lot of placement in Aquarius at this time as a heads up, which just basically means that, so planets really represent like our karma, right? They're the energy of what we need to be learning at that certain time. And depending on where this new moon falls in what house of your specific chart is going to dictate, you know, just kind of how the energy plays out, what area of life this is all happening in. So obviously the sun and the moon are in Aquarius, they're conjunct. New moon is all about manifesting, you know, kind of setting out our goals, what we want to align with. It's a great time to manifest that kind of wish fulfillment energy. We're going to pull some cards. Ooh, yay, we got it. The 11th house. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So that's what, you know, Aquarius governs. It is also governed by Uranus. So this energy of, you know, like fighting for the little man is how I always think of it. It has this kind of revolutionary / rebellious energy. It can be a little bit FU, but you know, sometimes we need some of that in our life, right? If things, people, places, things aren't really going our way, we need to know when to stand up for ourselves and fight for what we want, what we believe in, etc. Like, yes, ideally we should be doing that at all times. You know, and this is also a little bit of an eccentric energy, right? So not following, you know, not being a follower, not like doing the herd mentality, you know, like it's being your own leader and not being afraid to step outside of that box. And that's exactly what this new moon is all about. So there are some levels of surrender and restoration that we need to tap into. The waning crescent is when we're moving away from the full moon, right? And we're kind of, the full moon is our manifestation, and then we have to reevaluate. We have to see what is working for our goal, especially if it didn't come in at that full moon time. And then in the waning period, we're releasing the things that aren't serving us, that aren't really catering towards our highest and best. And I bring this up because Saturn and Venus are conjunct in Aquarius. So basically, even though they're far enough away from the new moon, they are really talking about how there's a lot of work, and it's just straight up work, refining, you know, what is working, like I said, and what doesn't. But especially around love energy, partnerships, you know, people that we're close to. It doesn't just have to be romantic. But this is also those aspects of our life where we find a sense of love, safety, nurture, the way we beautify ourselves, etc. All that's being challenged, you know, with this new moon. The dominant energy is with Neptune. I believe it's in Pisces. Let me double check. Yes, it's still in Pisces. So Neptune deals with our intuition and our emotion. So be really mindful to plug into what your instincts are telling you. Right now with Neptune in Pisces, it's going to be a very, that energy of our, gut instincts, that still small voice kind of telling us what's going on, etc., is incredibly profound right now. We really need to pay attention to it and not second guess ourselves or limit ourselves at the same time. Because just as well, the sun and moon are opposite to Black Moon Lilith. Black Moon Lilith is, she kind of reminds me of the devil in the tarot. She really sheds light on our shadow side, or the more kind of like low vibey energies, or just, I don't know, it's kind of like Pleasure Island is what it reminds me of, the things that we can get attached to, maybe form addictions to, but it's not just substance, right? This is people, places, and things. So sometimes we're used to a more codependent relationship, or if someone says the right thing in a right way to string us along, we'll take the bait type vibe. That's what Black Moon Lilith is all about. I feel like her energy comes in as we're making shifts and changes in our life. It's almost like spirit throwing in that trick card of like, are you really sure you're going to show up and change and do the work? That's what Saturn gives us. Yeah, like that trine energy. Okay, how I'm hearing it, especially for Black Moon Lilith, is she shows us the things that we're still attached to, right? So places where we need to put in a little extra work. It's not always fun to look at our shadow self. I get that 100%. I love to think I'm perfect too, right? I think we all do, but I think that there is something really positive about having a healthy sense of evaluation, really reflecting on our actions, how we're showing up in life, questioning if that's who and what we want to be. There's also that concept, like I keep thinking of like Catholic confession, right? When you have to go to the confessional and share maybe the parts of you that you're a little embarrassed to share. But that gives us a level of accountability, right? If we're always keeping our deep, dark secrets to ourselves, then we're never going to grow. I love it. This is why I love what I do, because the cards never lie. So like I said, Black Moon Lilith is really there for our benefit. And it's interesting because opposing energy, like when planets are in opposition, yeah, it's a tough energy because it's bringing out, like I said, it's bringing out the stuff that we need to look at. It's triggering certain things. And anytime things get triggered for us, there is going to be that tension, right? But remember, the other cool side, my silver linings, right, is that even though it can bring out the tension, the conflict, the frustration, those energies can also maximize one another as well. So it's like when we learn to dance with our devil, we're actually empowering ourselves, We all have, I love that. Bottom of the deck is Chiron, also known as the wound healer. It's the bridge between the spiritual and the physical, the outer planets and the inner planets. And Chiron, I don't know if I pronounce it, but I like it said that way personally, versus Chiron. I don't know, it just doesn't vibe with me. It's too harsh for some reason. Me and my northern accent, right? So just remember, here's the thing, it's interesting, especially in this chart in our new moon astrology, because Chiron is actually square to our fortune point. So that basically talks about how the lessons that we're learning, the way we need to overcome the obstacles, the challenges that have been set before us, it's not going to feel so good, right? Like we all have these utopian fantasies about how we want things to work out, which is all well and good. But generally speaking, we actually need to intuit the energy more versus projecting our fantasy. Does that make sense? So like, obviously when we're dealing with other people, places, and things, they're going to bring a different level of energy into the situation as well. And intuition is recognizing that and then working with that energy, working with the components versus, oh, I hope, I wish this person would be this way, you know, and then just, you know, hoping just to be let down that that's actually not happening. And that's where I feel that that Chiron fortune point is kind of, you know, bringing in that tension, that frustration. Square energy is not the worst per se, but it's not fun either. It's not the most comfortable is what I want to say. And it all relates back to how it makes us look. Because Chiron is also square to the ascendant. And ironically or not, well, actually it makes sense in the world of geometry or astrology for that matter. But the fortune point is conjunct, which means right on top of the ascendant, which is in Cancer. So Cancer is also a water energy. It's very intuitive, very tuned in. And I feel like this is like, you know, it's like when we know how we want it to look. We know our strengths. We know our power. We know where we're going. And we feel really strong and self-assured in this. We might even be seeking out some like validation and comfort from those we love or that are close to us, but we're not really getting it. I'm not going to lie, you know, and no shade to anyone. And, you know, no shade to any of your friends or family. But this is because the learning lesson is embedded in you kind of being your own safe space, your own like love, nurture, support, etc. We all have to rely on ourselves, you know, I mean, not to be a Debbie Downer by any means. But, you know, it's just recognizing that, like, there are those times in life where we have to be self-reliant, where people around us are not going to be fulfilling our expectations. Yeah, there's that clarity. So recognizing the truth about things, right? Leo energy is very, like, me, front and center. They like the limelight, right? But sometimes it's, you know, we have to take that for ourselves. Meaning, this is basically saying that it's time to really plug in, you know, with that first house. It's called refining who we are, how we're showing up for our own life, our own goals, our own dreams, etc. You know, and not having the expectation that people are always going to see or understand or agree. Like I said, this new moon in Aquarius is all about wish fulfillment. You know, it's in the tarot, it governs the star card, which is healing. It means we're on the right path, but it's also like spirit has that path, that goal confirmed for you. So it's a very hopeful, very beautiful, vibrant energy, but it also means that sometimes we ruffle some feathers, unfortunately. And the other main aspect is the more that we make the choices for our own health and well-being, our North Node, meaning the way that, you know, karma kind of plays out in our life, how we grow, how we heal, etc. You know, the better off we're actually going to be, even though going through the process, right, doesn't feel like it, because it's changing, it's evolving the way things used to be. We get so comfortable in our energy. I think generally speaking, we don't really like change, you know. I think that there's some sort of like study around that, proving that, you know, we would all be complacent if we were able. But in order to get that expansion that we want, there's that Mercury energy that I was just talking about. We have to be willing to let go what is no longer working, right? What is no longer serving us in order so that we can expand and move forward. And we have to be strong enough to claim what we want, right? Virgo energy is very analytical. It's weighing out the pros and the cons of something. It's recognizing and accepting the duality that is present in life for sure. But then it's also like not being afraid of that, you know, especially if you're finding yourself like you were on one path, you were doing things in a certain way, and then now you're feeling that shifting. You're like, I don't even know if I really want to go down this road anymore. That's definitely an energy that's manifesting right now. So even you being comfortable in that duality, and then also like really expressing your wants and your needs from that space, that is really going to help you feel the most empowered moving through this new moon. Like I said, it's a great time to set goals, manifestations, intentions, do a little ceremony, little ritual. I'm hosting one at my house tonight. Super excited, having some people around the fire. We are going to let go of what does not serve us and really call in, bring in what is. So guys, I hope this reading helped. Thanks so much for tuning in always. I do personal readings, astrology, tarot, mediumship, energy healing. If you're interested, drop me a line. I would love to connect. I would love to support in the highest and best way. Thank you for the support on your end. I appreciate it. I love making these videos. I love connecting with you guys. Lots of love and blessings always.